Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 10, IDW Comic Review. Now, as you know, IDW are the new owners of Sonic the Hedgehog after getting the rights to Archie Comics and publishing their own continuation after the events of Sonic Forces, which has their more kind of own carry-on from it. And the cover mainly has Sonic and his friends getting ready, with Metal looking on. And the story mainly picks up after the events of the previous issue. We see how Metal Sonic says, "Well, you came here to stop me, didn't you? Step right up. I'm gonna kick the smugness right out of you, Metal, as soon as I figure out how." So of course that Knuckles knows that it's more cheating as he's now super and is much more dangerous now. So Sonic and Knuckles try to take him out, but end up getting bashed around so badly, they end up getting a one-hit KO. And Knuckles says, "I thought you were going to distract him. Just getting warmed up, that's all." And we're seeing back at the battlefield where Tangle and Whisper are taking down robots and destroying the gun cannons. We see SBO, Charmy, Rouge, and even Tails and Amy taking down Eggman's robots. And we see Blaze going into her fiery form after using the Soul Emeralds, and has to use one last move to destroy the sort of docking bay. So manages to use a full Fire Blast before powering down and not to hit the island, which causes the sort of depots to sort of fall down. And Blaze saying, "It is done. I am. And we see how Eggman, who thinks he's Mr. Tinker, is singing a song to the children. And we see Rough and Tumble bringing him back to a certain doctor. And of course, we see how Silver uses his powers, and Tails uses one of the ships to blast down the docking yard. And SBO and the others sort of getting out by the inch of their teeth, and Tangle saying, "Hey, what were you flying?" And Rouge pretty much says about the plan that, and even talks that he is going to have a word with Shadow about what happened. And of course Rouge knows that Shadow is just going out to prove himself and knows where he could be. So we see how Sonic is trying to take down Super Metal Sonic, and just as Knuckles gets to the Emerald, he says, "Aw, you almost made it this time," and bashes him around. And just as he's about to win, Shadow shows up to sort of take him out, and this is kind of like the moment you can tell that Shadow did it too easily, and which restores Metal to normal and gets punched down by Shadow and beaten down. And of course Sonic manages to stop him and says that he'll copy his biodata, which Shadow says, "So it won't be enough for him to transform. He still gets your power and becomes that much stronger. Afraid? Move so I can get the Master Emerald." And so we see how Metal has got everything planned and slowly becomes a more dangerous form. And of course Sonic says, "Way to go, Shed. Thanks for all your help." And so ends up becoming something bigger and something nastier, and of course fuses with the Master Emerald, and in the process the island ends up sort of crumbling. And over time we see how Sonic says, "Well, on the bright side, you got your shining rock back," but then it crumbles, and Sonic and Shadow hear the bad news from Knuckles that the emerald's been cut off from Angel Island, and that it's going to fall into the ocean if they don't try and stop Metal. We see how Metal becomes a giant, like Blue Eyes, like dragon form, and him basically becoming Master Overlord, who says, "Now, Sonic, my loathing copy, bow before your Master Overlord." And yeah, this is the story. So issue 10 feels like they really rushed the story a bit, like they kind of use Shadow as a means to kind of unintentionally cause the problems, even though this could have had Shadow sort of locating the Master Emerald and sort of using it to power himself up. Instead, it just makes it look too easy, and it just seems like Sonic and Knuckles' plan just didn't really need to happen. So I think the issue deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of okay, but kind of alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.